The company that oversees Pennsylvania's electrical grid has agreed to a price cap. Meanwhile, efforts to reauthorize a utility protection law have been renewed. Hunters are getting more public land. Plus, ooh la la, these places are romantic. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and you're listening to Today in PA. PJM Interconnection operates the electrical grids in all or part of 13 states, Pennsylvania included, as well as Washington, D.C., reports Billy Penn. As previously covered here, the Shapiro administration filed a complaint against PJM demanding it use different calculations for its price cap for capacity auctions. These auctions determine how much generating companies will be paid to commit to keeping their plants available at all times, even when demand is low. This is a kind of insurance to make sure there's power during something like a winter storm or a hot summer day, basically. Well, PJM has agreed to put a new cap on certain power price hikes following Governor Josh Shapiro's threat to possibly pull out of the system. This will prevent bill hikes that could have cost Pennsylvanians an estimated $4.2 billion in the future. As for why this whole thing happened in the first place, the complaint said that was because PJM was painfully slow to let new power plants connect to its grid, and because of a rapid rise in energy as well as other issues with its model. This resulted in costs being a record high without any sort of safeguards for reliability. Speaking of rising utility costs, state lawmakers are looking for ways to protect consumers against them, reports the Center Square, which is why there's a renewed effort to reauthorize a 20-year-old law that lapsed last year. The Responsible Utility Customer Protection Act, aka Chapter 14, was first enacted in 2004 to protect responsible ratepayers by providing public utilities with tools to manage uncollected bills. It also sought to safeguard vulnerable customers through winter shutoff moratoriums and payment arrangements. The Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission is temporarily maintaining the law's protections, but they may no longer have to. A bill was introduced that would reauthorize the law. And while it did pass through the Senate, the House ignored the bill, which died at the end of November once the legislative session came to a close. Now it's back, and the next steps for it is to be brought before the Senate Appropriations Committee prior to a final Senate vote. Hunters in Pennsylvania will get access to 2,000 acres of new public land, states the York Daily Record. The State Game Commission just approved the purchases and donations of land on about a dozen counties ranging from the northwestern to eastern part of the state. The commission still needs to finalize these approvals, and when that will happen remains to be confirmed. For more information on where this all will be, please click on the corresponding podcast article link. Ooh la la, says PennLive. 5 restaurants in Pennsylvania have just landed on an open table list covering the country's most romantic joints to eat. There's the Altius in Pittsburgh, the Belvedere Inn Restaurant and Bar in Lancaster, the Butcher and Singer in Philadelphia, the Monterey Bay Fish Grotto, again in Pittsburgh, and the Sky High at the Four Seasons, also in Philadelphia. These places were noted for their settings, food, and their wine menu. Can you say Valentine's Day reservations? That is it for today. For more Pennsylvania news and otherwise, take a peep at PennLive.com. And please remember to rate this podcast and to leave it an honest review too, please. Thanks in advance, and of course, thanks for listening. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and I'll be back for Friday's episode of Today in PA.